Mistakes seniors must avoid to stay strong and healthy asterisk asterisk. G'day friends. Have you ever cracked open an egg for breakfast, thinking you're doing your body a world of good, only to wonder if you're making a tiny mistake that could quietly harm your health? For many of us over 50, eggs are a daily staple, affordable, versatile, and packed with protein. But what if the way you're handling, cooking, or storing those eggs is stealing away their benefits, or worse, putting you at risk? As we age, our bodies change. Our immune systems aren't as robust, our digestion slows, and our organs work harder to keep us going. Small habits that seemed harmless in our 30 seconds or 40 seconds, like how we store or cook our eggs, can have a bigger impact now. I'm Dr. Sophia Elena, and after 15 years as a doctor, I've seen how tiny tweaks to daily routines can make a massive difference to your energy, strength, and vitality. Today, I'm going to walk you through 7 common egg mistakes that could be silently affecting your health, especially for those of us over 50. Some of these might shock you, because they're habits most of us have followed for years without a second thought. From risks to your heart to sneaky bacteria that could land you in hospital, I'll share the science, practical tips, and simple fixes to keep eggs as the powerhouse food they should be. Plus, I've added insights from recent studies out of Australia and beyond to make sure you're armed with the latest knowledge. Before we dive in, let me ask, how do you love your eggs? Sunny side up, hard-boiled, or maybe a fluffy scramble? Drop it in the comments below, and let's start a chat. I'll be popping in to read your thoughts. Ready to make sure your eggs are helping, not harming? Let's get cracking. Let's start with mistake number 7. Eating runny eggs when your immune system isn't at its peak. There's something undeniably tempting about a soft, golden yolk oozing over your toast. But for those of us over 50, that runny center can hide a serious risk: Salmonella enteritis. This bacteria can lurk inside eggs before the shell even forms, and it's not something you can see, smell, or taste. According to the Australian Institute of Food Safety, Salmonella causes thousands of hospitalizations each year, and older adults are especially vulnerable because our immune systems and stomach acid, natural barriers to bacteria, weaken with age. For a healthy young person, Salmonella might mean a few days of discomfort, but for seniors, it can lead to dehydration, sepsis, or even life-threatening infections. A 2021 study from Monash University highlighted that seniors with reduced stomach acid are less able to neutralize bacteria, letting pathogens slip through and multiply. The fix? Cook your eggs until the yolk is firm, 71 degrees Celsius, 160 degrees Fahrenheit, is the magic number to kill Salmonella. If you can't resist a runny yolk, opt for pasteurized eggs, which are heat-treated to zap bacteria without cooking the egg. Here's a practical tip inspired by blue zones, where people live long, vibrant lives. Pair your fully cooked eggs with nutrient-rich veggies like spinach or tomatoes for an immune-boosting breakfast that supports your body's defenses. Now, let's move to mistake number 6. Storing eggs near strong-smelling foods. You might think popping your eggs in the fridge door is enough to keep them safe, but eggshells are porous. They've got up to 17,000 tiny holes. Odors from onions, garlic, or fish can seep through, not just changing the taste but potentially carrying bacteria-laden moisture. A 2019 study in the Times Journal of Food Protection Times found eggs stored near raw fish had higher bacterial counts within days. For seniors, this is a bigger deal than you might think, as our bodies are less equipped to fight off foodborne bugs. Take Joan, a 70-year-old patient of mine who kept her eggs above a tray of leftover curry. She couldn't understand why her omelets tasted odd, until she ended up with a nasty bout of food poisoning. The solution is simple. Keep eggs in their original carton, ideally in the coldest part of your fridge, not the door where temperatures swing. The carton shields against odors and helps maintain a steady temperature. Want a pro tip? Add a weekly fridge clean-out to your routine to reduce cross-contamination risks. It's a small habit that can keep your eggs and your health in top shape. Next up, mistake number 5. Reheating boiled eggs in the microwave. It's tempting to pop a boiled egg in the microwave for a quick warm-up, but this can turn a healthy snack into a dangerous one. When you microwave a boiled egg, the trapped moisture inside turns into superheated steam. With nowhere to go, that pressure can cause the egg to explode, in your hand, on your plate, or even in your mouth. A 2018 study from the Times Journal of Food Science Times found that some boiled eggs reached internal pressures high enough to burst with force, causing burns or injury. For seniors with thinner skin or slower reflexes, these accidents can lead to infections or scarring. I had a patient, Tom, 73, who learned this the hard way when a microwaved egg burst, burning his hand. Beyond the explosion risk, microwaving can make egg proteins rubbery, harder to digest, and less nutritious. Not ideal when your digestion is already slowing down. Instead, try slicing boiled eggs and warming them gently in a pan on low heat, or soak a peeled egg in hot water for a minute. These methods keep your eggs safe and tasty. Now, mistake number 4, and this one's a biggie: washing eggs before storing them. It feels like good hygiene to rinse eggs fresh from the shop, but this can backfire. Eggshells have a natural protective layer called the bloom, which seals out bacteria like Salmonella. Washing, especially with warm water, strips this away, leaving those 17,000 pores wide open to germs. A 2020 study from the University of Sydney found washed eggs were far more likely to harbor bacteria after a week in the fridge. For seniors, this increases the risk of foodborne illness, which can hit harder and take longer to recover from. Here's a practical fix. Only clean eggs right before cooking, using a dry cloth to wipe off any dirt. Store them unwashed in their carton in the coldest part of the fridge. And here's a bonus tip inspired by Mediterranean diets. Pair your eggs with olive oil and herbs for a nutrient-packed meal that supports heart health. Let's tackle mistake number 3. Cooking eggs in scratched non-stick pans. Non-stick pans are a kitchen staple, but when they're scratched, they can release toxic chemicals called PFAS into your food. These compounds are linked to liver issues, thyroid problems, and even cancer, according to a 2022 Times Environmental Science and Technology Times study. For seniors, whose bodies detoxify less efficiently, these toxins can build up over time, causing fatigue or hormonal imbalances. I saw this with a patient, Mary, 69, who used a scratched Teflon pan for years and struggled with unexplained tiredness. Switching to safer options like stainless steel or ceramic made a noticeable difference. If your non-stick pan is scratched, ditch it. And never preheat an empty non-stick pan. High heat can release harmful fumes. Season your new pan with a bit of olive oil, a trick from Mediterranean kitchens, to make it naturally non-stick. Now, mistake number 2. Eating only egg whites and tossing the yolks. For years, yolks were blamed for raising cholesterol, but that's old news. The yolk is a nutritional goldmine, packed with vitamin D for bones, choline for brain health, and lutein for eye protection. A 2023 Times Journal of Nutrition Times study showed seniors eating whole eggs had better memory and vision health than those eating whites only. Choline, in particular, is vital. It supports acetylcholine, a neurotransmitter that keeps your mind sharp. Without it, you're at higher risk for brain fog or dementia. Yolks also have omega-3 seconds for heart health. A 2019 Times American Heart Association Times review found that 1 egg a day is safe for most seniors and doesn't raise heart disease risk. So, embrace the whole egg. Try a veggie-packed frittata to boost your nutrient intake, inspired by long-living communities in Okinawa. We've reached the #1 mistake: ignoring cracked or expired eggs. This is the most dangerous habit, especially for seniors. A cracked shell or an egg past its use-by date is a gateway for bacteria like Salmonella or E. coli. As eggs age, their protective bloom weakens, and cracks let pathogens slip in. A 2021 Times Food Control Times study found bacterial growth in expired or cracked eggs was 3 times higher than in fresh ones. For seniors with weaker immune systems, this can lead to severe infections, dehydration, or even sepsis. The CDC reports that salmonella from eggs causes thousands of illnesses yearly, with older adults facing the highest risks. Don't take chances. Check the carton's date and do the float test. Place an egg in water. If it sinks, it's fresh. If it floats, toss it. Cracked eggs? Straight to the bin. Let's wrap up with the key takeaways to keep eggs as your health ally. Cook eggs fully to kill bacteria, especially if your immune system is weaker. 2. Store eggs in their carton, away from strong odors, in the coldest part of the fridge. 3. Avoid microwaving boiled eggs. Warm them gently to prevent explosions. 4. Don't wash eggs before storing to preserve their natural protection. 5. Ditch scratched non-stick pans for safer stainless steel or ceramic. 6. Eat the whole egg. Yolks are packed with brain and eye-protecting nutrients. Never eat cracked or expired eggs. They're a health hazard. You can't stop aging, but you can choose to age with vitality. Eggs are a fantastic food, but only if you handle them right. Which of these tips will you try first? Share in the comments. I'd love to hear your thoughts. If this video helped you see eggs in a new light, hit the like button, share it with a mate, and subscribe to Times Health Advice 360 times for more practical tips to live stronger, longer. Your health is your power.